Last month, I did something most content creators and career coaches won't do. I pulled actual data. I analyzed almost 4,000 real job postings from companies across various industries to see what skills they're hiring for versus what every bootcamp and YouTube guru keeps telling you what to learn. And what I found was pretty shocking. 3 of the most recommended must-have skills for data analysts barely showed up in these job postings. We're talking about a combined less than 5%. Meanwhile, there are other skills that are boring, not very sexy, that appear in over 80% of the postings, but no one really talks about them because they don't really get a lot of views. So if you've been following the typical data analyst roadmap, grinding through tutorials, spending months on skills that everyone says that you must learn, you've been fed information that's been completely disconnected from what employers actually want. Here's what's actually happening. While you're learning skills that sound impressive, but don't get you hired, other people are focusing on the boring fundamentals that actually land interviews, and they're getting the jobs that you want. But here's the good news. Once you know what to focus on, everything changes. I'm going to show you exactly the skills that are wasting your time and what the real data says about what gets people hired, and the exact roadmap you can use to pivot your learning so you can start landing interviews in the next 30 days instead of spinning your wheels for another 6 to 12 months. And stick around, because at the end, you will know the one skill that appeared in 78% of the job postings, but somehow gets skipped in most learning paths. If this is your first time here, I'm Kadisha, and 5 years ago, I was working in a warehouse and delivering pizzas making $8 an hour. And today, I lead a community of over 60,000 aspiring and current data professionals, and I've helped thousands of other career changers break into data analytics without going back to school and wasting money on courses that just don't work. And if you ever want to work with me one-on-one to land your first role in data the next 3 to 6 months, click the link in the description so we can start working together ASAP. Now let's dive into these 3 fake skills that are keeping you unemployed. Now, before I get to the list, let me be clear. These are not necessarily fake skills, but these are 3 skills that are very low ROI compared to the high ROI skills that you should be focusing on. So let's start with fake skill number 1. R programming. R is basically useless for most data analyst roles right now. It's only used in highly specialized industry or fields. And I know every data science course pushes it, every university teaches it, but when I analyze those 4,000 job postings, R barely showed up at all. But here's why everyone else keeps pushing R. It sounds very impressive. It makes course creators feel smart. It makes you feel like you're learning something real. The Google search teaches it. But if your goal is to get hired as an in-demand data analyst in this job market and not to become some research statistician, you're wasting your time. I had a student come to me after spending 8 months learning R through multiple courses and certs. 8 months. She could build every stat model under the sun, run complex analysis, but she couldn't even get a single interview. But you know what we did? We spent a few weeks getting her SQL skills sharp, built 3 business-focused projects in Tableau, and she had 4 interviews within a month. The market doesn't care how elegant your R code is if you cannot clean messy datasets with SQL or build great functional dashboards that drive decisions in Tableau or Power BI. Fake skill number 2, VBA. This one makes me laugh because it's 2025 and people are still learning VBA like it's going to save their career. VBA is what you learned when Excel was the only game in town and automation meant writing macros. But here's the reality. If a company is still heavily relying on VBA, that's probably not a company you want to work for. That's a company stuck in the year 2010, paying 2010 salaries with a 2010 growth opportunity. Modern data work happens in the cloud. It happens with Python, Power Query, with actual databases. Not with the same clunky macro that breaks every time someone updates Excel. I see people spending months learning VBA, thinking it'll make them more valuable, but when I look at the job posting, VBA appears in less than 2% of the analyst roles. And most of those are companies you'd want to run from if you saw their tech stack. Your time is better spent learning Python for automation or even getting really good at Power Query. These skills scale, these skills transfer, and these skills get you hired at companies that actually invest in their data infrastructure. Fake skill number 3. Advanced machine learning. This is a big one, and this is where everyone gets seduced because machine learning sounds sexy, right? Neural networks, deep learning, AI, decision trees, it all sounds so cutting edge and impressive. But here's what no one tells you. Most data analyst roles don't use machine learning at all. When I analyze these job postings, Advanced ML barely showed up in any of the roles. You know what showed up way more? Data cleaning, business intelligence, Tableau, Power BI, dashboard creation, etc. The dirty secret of data analytics is that 80% of the job is cleaning messy data sets and presenting it in a way that helps people make better decisions, not building predictive models. It's not training neural networks. It's taking a spreadsheet full of garbage and turning it into insights that drive actions. I've seen people spend a year learning TensorFlow, scikit-learn, building impressive machine learning projects, only to get stumped in interviews when they're asked to clean a data set or even build a Tableau dashboard. Here's the thing. If you want to be a data scientist, ML engineer, sure, learn machine learning. But if you want to be a data analyst or analytics engineer that actually gets hired, focus on the skills that analysts actually use every day. So if those are the 3 skills that you don't want to learn, let me break down the skills that showed up in majority of the 4,000 job postings. SQL. SQL is king and queen. It appeared in over 78% of the job postings. And I'm not talking about the basic select statements. I'm talking joins, window functions, CTEs, and subqueries. The stuff that lets you actually work and connect real business data. Excel mastery. I know it's not sexy, but it showed up in over 70% of the postings. Pivot tables, VLOOKUPs, conditional formatting, especially Power Query, not VBA. Business intelligence tools. Tableau, Power BI appeared in over 60% of the postings. Not just making pretty charts, but building dashboards that actually help people make decisions. And data storytelling. This one is huge, but no one talks about it. The ability to take your analysis and present it in a way that drives actions. Think PowerPoint presentations, executive summaries, clear visualizations with context. Python for automation, not machine learning, automation. Data cleaning, process automation, connecting to APIs, the practical stuff that saves time and adds value. These are the skills that actually get you hired, and these are the skills that show up on the real job descriptions at real companies paying real salaries that you want. Now let's have an ROI reality check. Here's how you need to think about this. Every hour that you spend learning is an investment. And like any investment, you are looking to make the highest return possible. If you spend 100 hours learning R, you're qualified for maybe a small fraction of the data analyst jobs on the market. If you spend those same 100 hours learning SQL, you've qualified for over 80% of them. The math isn't complicated. I had a student who came to me after completing about 3 different machine learning courses, smart guy, impressive projects, but 0 interviews. We pivoted his focus to SQL, business intelligence, data storytelling, PowerPoint slide presentations. And within 2 months, he had multiple offers, including one at about $90K at a Fortune 500 company. The difference, he stopped chasing what sounded impressive and started building what employers actually needed. So here's what you're going to do. Stop whatever fake skill you're learning and focus on this instead. Weeks 1 and 2, get your SQL skills sharp, joins, aggregations, window functions. Practice with real messy data sets. Weeks 3 and 4, master Excel for business analytics, pivot tables, Power Query, basic stats. Weeks 5 and 6, pick either Tableau or Power BI and build dashboards that tell stories and not just display data. Weeks 7 and 8, work on your data storytelling. Learn how to present your findings in PowerPoint like a consultant, not a student. This isn't the sexy path, and this may not get the most clicks on YouTube or sell the most expensive courses, but this is what gets you hired. Now, the bottom line is, I get it. Learning R or machine learning feels more impressive than mastering Excel, SQL, and PowerPoint. It feels more real, data science-y. But if your goal is to get hired and start building your 6-figure career in data analytics, you need to focus on what the market actually wants. The market doesn't care about your impressive neural network if you can't clean the data set or build a dashboard that helps someone make a decision. So stop chasing these overhyped skills and start building real value. Focus on what employers actually need and not what sounds cool on LinkedIn. And if you ever need help building these real skills, landing your first role in data analytics in the next 3 to 6 months, click the link in the description and I'll show you exactly how to build that portfolio that gets you interviews and the exact strategy that my students use to build their 6-figure career in data without going back to school. Now, the choice is yours. You can keep chasing these shiny objects that lead nowhere, or start building the real skills that pay real money. So what's it going to be?